When you was taken out from the wombs of your mothers, you didn't know anything. You couldn't do anything. The only thing a child can do is cry. When hungry cry, when thirsty cry, uncomfortable cry, hot cry, cold cry. And the child can only cry. And hence when the child cries, the mother turns to the child and does whatever she can. But Allahu Akbar, then a person grow, mashallah, when they grow, when they become young, a man needs a wife needs a husband, they need each other, mashallah, for life to progress. And then they have children. And when they do have children, Allahu Akbar, innama amwalukum awladukum fitna. Their children are a big test. Fitna in Arabic, in the language of the Quran, is a very comprehensive word. And sometimes it's used to describe problem and trouble. وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Understand that fitna is more severe than even murder, than killing. Here it means trouble. When you make trouble, where if there is a murder, one murder or so, but when there is fitna, when there is trouble, then hundreds and thousands of people can get murdered. But generally, and in other verses of the Quran, it also implies a test. As Allah says in these verses, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةً. Your children and your wealth are a severe, severe test. Allah puts the love of children in the hearts of the parents, so that the parents will tend to their needs and look after them. And if Allah did not put that love in the hearts of the parents for the children, Allahu Akbar, then who would bother? But just sending your children to the masjid and just taking them to Hajj and Umrah, you think they will become good Muslims and perfect Muslims? Allahu Akbar, this is a lifelong struggle. حَقُّ الْوَلَدِ عَلَى الْوَالِدِ أَنْ يُحْسَنَ إِسْمَهُ وَيُحْسَنَ أَدَبًا. This is the right of your children over you, that you should give them good names and give them a good upbringing, and keep making du'as for them as well. As Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا الْبَلَدَ آمِنًا وَاجْنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَّ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامَ. Ya Allah, save me and save my children from worshipping idols. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ibrahim, look at his concern. From worshipping idols. Ibrahim was an idol breaker. Such concern that Ibrahim had for his offspring. He doesn't want them to become kafirs, praying to Allah, crying to Allah, Ya Allah, don't make my children worship idols. And right from the beginning, instill such manners, instill such love for Allah, for Quran, for Deen, for Islam. Doesn't matter what happens, they be prepared to die but not give up their Iman. What good is a life which is lived without Iman and without Islam? So you have to show responsibility. You have to make sure that you bring them up and you teach them in a manner that you take them to Jannah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Save yourselves and your family members from the fire of Jahannam. Just as you don't want your children to go hungry, you don't want your children to suffer, you don't want your children to be in hardship in any way. Similarly, show concern that when you are not around, and your dear wife and your dear little bambino, when they will be grown up themselves, and when they will be in their graves, when they will rise on the day of Qiyamah, will they be safe? Will they have done enough to ensure their salvation? You yourself might have been a good worshipper, mashallah. The children do the homework, I'm going to the masjid, but show no concern, mashallah. You might even be praying tahajjud yourself, but you don't even bother waking up your children and your family even for fajr. That's not doing them justice. Yes, when it's time to go to school, you might wake them up and get them ready. You don't want them to be late to school, but they're late for fajr and they don't even bother for fajr. So setting a practical example in your homes. Not just sitting and relaxing in front of the box daily basis. With the family, give your families attention. Otherwise there will be tension. If you don't give them attention, then you live in tension. May Allah fill our hearts with His love. May Allah guide our children as well. May Allah guide our generations to come. And may we all live on Islam, and maybe you will die with Iman.
يا مالك الملك